All right. Welcome back to week 2 of BOL Masters Auto Talk. This is going to be the first Auto Talk we have for BOL Masters, and unfortunately, it was kind of thrown together last minute because our host is stuck in a pharmacy because apparently Walgreens or CVS or wherever he went to just messed up his order, and hopefully he gets the right things. And we had a couple guests, I think, back out, but the person that putting it together, Auto Talk, is currently at the Bills game, so we have two people from RDG with us today. It's going to be Drake and Masho. How are you both doing today?
Doing
Is
good.
good. Doing good, doing
Fantastic.
good.
So we didn't get any of your power rankings, and honestly, it's difficult to do power rankings this early in the season because you don't really know where teams belong. It's going to just pretty much be you just throwing darts at a dartboard and hopefully hitting something correct. So we're just going to go straight to predictions, and we'll just use most of the time just talking about each team. And we think that they're going to fall throughout the season. Maybe if they're going to be a playoff team, maybe they're not. So we're going to talk about the first game, which is also the stream game. It's Team Yippie versus Team Dizzy. And two teams that I assume you both aren't familiar with that well.
Not at all.
Never heard of them.
So the funny thing is, Team Yippie, I actually casted one of their matches in Titan this split or this last split for them, and they kind of impressed me. I believe they won that match, and they had a lot of solid um, plays around the map, a lot of macro decisions. I know Drake is the only person to put Team Dizzy, and for some reason I feel like it's because their logo is pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, well, Team DZ has overall they should have a better roster, but the only problem they have is their ADC is a Grandmaster 600 LP player, but he's a one trick, and then their jungle
Mhm.
is just a one trick as well. So going in the fearless,
Yeah.
being a one trick is going to be extremely hard.
Yeah, and a lot of times in best out of threes, you might have a little bit easier time in like a fearless. But let's say Team Dizzy makes playoffs and they get the best out of five, and you could either pretty much keep that fearless pick or like their one tricks out, or you can just give it to them immediately and just then they're just screwed for the rest of the series. But in a best out of three, you expect to be banned out. And a lot of times with a higher ranked player is if they don't have their one trick, they might be docked down a few ranks and play maybe like a diamond player or like a high diamond player and be completely outclassed by a player that has a kind of a better pool of champions which they can play at the level they're currently at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like a year ago probably. I think Fearless would have been not something good for me because I think I was like a Giga two trick, like one to two trick. But over the summer I opened up my champ pool, so I think Fearless is good. But for a lot of the players that have just one champion they're only good at, and then they just get knocked down a couple rings, it's gonna be really fucking hard.
Quick question: did you guys like require players to make a new account to like low kind of start fresh or something?
Well, during the summer, we took off. We didn't really play any leagues or anything like that. So from early May until September, roughly, we gave all of our new players that we recruited all fresh accounts, and we set up schedules where they would have design teams each 2 weeks they'd be playing on. We had multiple row coaches as well. So a lot of the players that we brought in were young players. They were just one tricks, and now we've changed it up where going in the fearless for us is extremely good because all these guys can play at least 10 to 15 champions at their current rank.
Okay, so definitely a team that, let's say, I guess we're gonna get into when we talk about RDG is a team where if they get to best out of fives, they just might have that upper hand.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the next match, and that's going to be Dorado Gaming Zeta and Maelstrom Esports. Both Drake and I put Dorado Gaming, while Masho put Maelstrom. Is there any reason for that, Masho?
I think I don't really know. I just like didn't want to vote for Dorado. I'm pretty sure. I know my goat Riddy is on that team, but like it's also the Dorado flag. I can't root for it. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell myself be like, yeah, they're gonna win. So then if I do, then I'm gonna be disappointed when they do win. It's
So you
unfortunate.
don't want like a win-win situation. You just want to make it a like either I win or I just straight lose.
Right.
Um, but speaking from the roster itself, so Maelstrom actually won last week. They beat Kimchi Esports, and Dorado, they won 2-1 against Team Dizzy. So I know that almost hurt the ego of Dorado players a little bit because I saw in chat people were like, "Where's the 2-0?" And I wonder what they're gonna go into this week, like if they're just fully confident and they just like ego check them, or if they're gonna actually play to like their full potential. Because from the roster itself, I feel like this Dorado Game Crusader roster is much better.
Yeah, I think Dorado has a better roster for sure.
Uh,
I think Riddy's probably one of the better junglers in this league. And I don't know if that's biased for me, but that's my boy.
I think he's definitely like the most consistent. Like, I don't see him ever have like a terrible game, but he's always on. Like, he's always able to play with his team very well, but I don't know if that's because he's always on pretty solid rosters, or if it's because like he's just that good of a player. Joker's on that roster, and you know all these players are like low masters, mid masters, so they're definitely gonna be a playoff lock for me. But I don't think that they're gonna just be totally impenetrable, where they're just gonna be undefeated the entire season.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be undefeated. I think they'll win against this team mostly just because if you look at Dorado, I'm pretty sure they'll probably end up playing around Joker anyway, and that's their ADC. So, like, if you're gonna be playing towards bot lane, especially against who are they playing against? Yippie?
Maelstrom.
Maelstrom, okay. Maelstrom's support is just Nautilus, Blitzcrank, Rakan, Leona. Like, he just plays engage. He doesn't play anything else. So, if you're just gonna play that play style, especially against Joker and Frostic, it's gonna be a little harder. The only thing they have to do is just lock in Braum, or even just play Enchanter with like Jinx or like Jen. I think they're gonna have a really hard problem against Dorado's bot lane.
I definitely think that if you do have a champion pool like you mentioned, where you just have Rakan, like straight up engage, it's so easy to figure out a game plan just to play against them, because you know exactly what they're going to do in the bot side. You know how they're going to try to play the game overall, and you know how they're going to try to line their draft with. Because if you don't have that flexibility of playing something else besides straight up engage, then it's hard to have flexibility in, like, let's say the jungle role or maybe even top lane role, depending. So in Dorado, I feel like no matter what, they're gonna kind of combat that. I'm gonna go straight 2-0 for Dorado. I know we didn't give any scores, but I feel like this should be a one-sided affair.
Yeah, I mean it should be one-sided, but I think they'll go 2-1. To be honest,
You think
I
they're
think they'll
ego?
yeah, they'll win game 1 like super quick, probably like I don't know 20-22 minutes like that, and then game 2 just go in super confident and just throw a huge lead. That's usually how Dorado
I
plays.
wouldn't be surprised. There's no way. I would not be surprised if they do that, because they've done that so many times. But let's go to the next one. It's gonna be Rubber Ducky Gaming versus Kimchi. Let's talk about your team real fast.
Mhm.
You have a 10-man roster, but you have pretty much like a set 5. And last week you didn't have your top laner, and this week, wait, not your top laner, sorry, your mid laner. So I'm assuming Nate's gonna play today.
Yeah, Nate and Flame will play today. We didn't use Flame last week either.
Okay, yeah. And you guys lost to Drop Dead, right? Drop Dead, I think, is a actually pretty solid roster. So, I mean, wish we could have saw that as like a, your full roster playing against them, because it might have been different. It might have been closer, but like it could be 2-1 or 1-2, whatever. But how do you think you fare, just overall, like going forward with your full roster?
if if Drop Dead is considered one of the best teams in
I'm not
Blue
saying
Water,
they're one of the best teams. I'm saying they're a solid roster.
well,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, from what I've heard, like Drop Dead was like one of the top contenders. If that's one of the best teams for Blue Water, then we'll
I
be
think they
completely
went to
fine.
AML finals, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they went
I
to
thought it was
AML
Titan.
finals.
No,
Something
it's
like that.
Titan. Because
Titan finals.
yeah. AML
Yeah,
was like
Titan.
Art of War and somebody else. But no, I mean if that's like one of the top teams, then yeah, we're completely fine. We rotate players though, so like we'll have one roster play game one, and then we rotate the entire roster for game two.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. The entire season.
Yeah, so that's
So
what
you
we
have
do
all
all
10
regular
players
season.
on standby, or like 8 maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean last week we only had 8, so we kept in Toasted and we kept in Sofian. Now Nate can play, and Flame can play as well. So we'll rotate. We'll have one roster play game one, then we'll have another roster play game two. We did this the first split when we was in Titan as well, and we just 3-0'd everyone. It's mostly because like when you scout a team that you're gonna play against for that following week, you usually scout like 5 players and that's it.
Mhm.
But now you get to scout 10, and we all play a completely different play style. So like game one team will play top mid, the other team will play mid bot, or all 3 lanes. Their play style completely changes.
And I guess you guys have a good scrim partner against each other then.
Yeah, we usually scrim against each other, or we'll just depends on like if the in-house scrims are getting too complicated, then we'll want to play against a another organization just to see our improvement.
Yeah. So let's talk about Kimchi a little bit. You probably did a little bit of scouting. And what would you say is the most threatening player on that team?
Um, Probably the mid, because he's not even a mid laner. This guy plays like Kaisa, Zeri, like he's not a mid laner. I don't know what he's gonna pick. The rest of these guys, you can telegraph exactly what they're gonna play,
Mhm.
but their mid laner, he's an ADC player playing mid for him.
Hey,
So
that's it. It was a great patch a couple of weeks ago for an AEC player mid, but I mean he could always still pull it out. Um, so it does bring out that kind of uncertainty of like how they go around their draft.
yeah, so like that's the only lane that we're not gonna be like really familiar with or understand what they're gonna pick. But for the rest of this team, it's gonna be pretty easy to tell like what they're gonna play out and how they're gonna play.
Let's go to the next matchup real quick, and it's gonna be Boomers over Zoomers versus Lit Esports. That is a mistake. Not week one. It's gonna be Abstract Gaming Pizza Kitchen versus Lit Esports. And Masho, you went with Abstract Pizza Kitchen. Why is that?
I think that rooster looks funny as hell. He's got
Yeah.
pizza and it's red. It's got a
Honestly, looking more towards it, like the reason why I went against Abstract is because just individually their players are a little bit lower than the average rank of the league. They're like low masters, high like diamond. I would say they're average diamond right now.
They're
Um,
all diamond, yeah.
yeah. But the problem with Lit, in my opinion, is that they're struggling with their team. Like who's playing? I think they're using ESUP today. So they could be randomly like having problems with synergy. Let's say if this Abstract Pizza Kitchen team, they've been playing for like the last whatever, they could just easily be on the same page while Lit Esports, while they have slightly higher ranks in terms of individual skills, they can just be out macroed, out rotated, and just get decimated.
Yeah. I mean, both teams are kind of similar, to be honest. Like the freaking chicken team, what they call it, pizza chicken. They're like D4, D2 average, roughly. And then, I mean, the other team is kind of similar too. I mean, it's both mostly just D2, D4 average. Like the only difference is, like Lit has more champion pool than chicken pizza or pizza chicken, whatever it's called. That's like the only difference I would say. Realistically, the rank doesn't necessarily matter as much because like for like D4 to like Masters 400, 500, whatever, there's not really a big mechanic change. It's mostly just game knowledge. So you never know, like these guys could show up and just be very good macro team, but I highly doubt it, but they could be. So it could go either way, to be honest.
Asho, do you have anything to add?
I only know one person from either roster, and it's the top laner for the pizza team. I don't know why I know him, but the name sounds really familiar. So
Play against him.
that's I probably played against him in solo queue like one time. So I don't really remember a lot of players, but like I remembered him, so please good.
I do know that some of the players on like the Lit roster are like have had like good splits before. Like Rizzy was on Connie's Horse, I believe, and they had pretty strong rosters in every league they played in. They kind of fell off, but there are a couple players on the roster that I have a little bit tougher time seeing, like playing against like better players. Like Deadbotting is currently like Emerald right now, and I don't know how well he's gonna fare against some players. Let's move on to the next matchup. It's gonna be Boomers over Zoomers and Omega McDonald's Grill Masters. And honestly, I think this is gonna be a pretty good game. And if we didn't stream Omega last week, this might have been the stream game this week. And everyone went with Omega.
I think it's
What do
because of
you
their
think?
top laner, to be honest. I think King
Yeah,
Coney is
King.
like he's kind of Himothy, to be honest. I know one top laner that is going to take him down, but yeah,
Is he
I
on your
think
roster?
perhaps who
Yeah.
knows.
Is it Flame?
Yeah, it's my goat, but we'll move towards King Coney. I know him. He's very good. I've seen him play a couple times in like opposite leagues, and he's very good. And like if they play through him, I think they'll win. 100%.
Yeah, you missed last year when they all changed their name to King Coney. I wanted to like cry.
Like, dude, I got like 3 King Coneys in my fucking solo queue games. It's crazy.
It's like what's happening here? But yeah, I mean, this team is like one of the favorites in my opinion to win the entire thing. But I do think that this is gonna be a solid test for them, as the team of Boomers versus Zoomers, they are not bad as an entire team. And I think they could take a game, if not two, if Omega kind of sleeps through it. But I'm pretty dead set on that. This Boomers over Zoomers team is going to be like the second seed going out of this division, and if they lose any match, it's going to be against Omega. And let's go ahead and talk about the next match, and that's going to be Who Flashed That Fight and Krabs Radiant. Krabs Radiant lost last week to Omega 2-0, and Who Flashed That Fight won 2-1 against the 4490 team. So two teams that honestly I think they're fairly matched in terms of skill. Obviously, Krabs Radiant had a tough go around with playing against Omega, but I think they could rebound, and that's why I selected them. Why'd you both select them?
Logo.
Nice.
Oh, I selected them because of logo, but I do know some of the players on the Flash the Fight team. Alistair, I played on a team with him like so long ago, and he was really good. And then Nutty One,
Was
I
it the
know
Lotus
him.
team?
Yes, it was. It was the Lotus
That's
team.
where I remember you from. So you played in like Diamond, right?
Yes, I played. That team was Diamond Masters. I think we played in AML. That split.
Okay, yeah, Alistair, I remember just being a really goated ADC. I haven't seen that name in a long time.
He's very
Um,
consistent and can take over games. That's what I
yeah,
recognize from him.
yeah, I definitely remember like even games where they're behind. Like, I think playing Jinx is what they're just like straight known for, if I'm not mistaken, where they was able to like get like one double or triple kill in a fight, and they just started taking over like in a losing game. Um, so I mean, this team is actually really good. And I think the test against Krebs Radiant is pretty much who's gonna be like gatekeeping playoffs, in my opinion, in this division, or like 3 or 4. So maybe one of them is gonna be 3, the other one's 4, but that's gonna be a solid game as well. I did go with Krebs Radiant because I think just the team in general, I think they've been playing together for quite a while, so I think they have like a kind of a better synergy at this point. Maybe in the middle of the season it would be a different story. But Flash That Fight definitely has the pieces where they could put together a run. Maybe they even try to topple Omega and Boomers over Zoomers.
I think they had the same problem that the other team has in that same division. I think it's who is Omega playing against?
That was Boomers over Zoomers.
Yeah, so like they had the same problem that Boomers over Zoomers have, where like their top laner is just Gwen and Aatrox. That's it. Like 221 games on Gwen, 75 on Aatrox. Like just bang Gwen, force him into Aatrox, and then you just literally take Renekton or anything else. I mean, it's that's the only problem that they're gonna have, honestly. Because like Alistar does look like a good ADC, but like you would have to play super hard towards bot lane and hope that God just tell your top laner just you're not gonna get Gwen, just don't die. Like play like Cassante or something, and just live and just keep diving on bot. That's the only way that these like both of those teams do anything, in my opinion.
I agree with that. But those are the predictions for this week. Next week we'll make sure we have power rankings. Maybe we'll have a little bit more data to go off of to see uh, how people do this week, because it is still difficult to choose between the two teams that maybe or maybe not are closely related. Thank you for both of you joining me. Thank you, Chippy, for hosting our talk. We'll take a short break, and when we're back, we'll start with Team Yippie and Team Dizzy and Week 2 match of BOL Masters.
Welcome in, everybody, to Blue Otter League. Another week, week 2. We're watching the Masters League here. Oh, man, last week I was so upset because, I was so ready and everything, and then, my internet decided to cause a little bit of problems. Yanni and Shibby going to be giving you all the action, hopefully, from Game 1 to Game 3 here between Team Yippie and Team Dizzy. Shibby, I'm interested to see what Team Yippie is going to look like because they were on bye last week.
Yeah, week 1 bye is kind of crazy, but it's also really nice because you kind of get to see what everyone plays, what everybody's doing. So I think, it'll be really interesting. They have extra weeks to prep. Technically, they had 2 weeks to prep for this team, so I don't want to see them getting out-drafted. I don't want to see them getting outmaneuvered here. Just to remind everybody that we are in BOL Masters, and this is the first season of Fearless Draft here. I believe it is actually True Fearless, so both champions, or both sets of champions that are picked on both sides cannot be picked again by either team. So a lot of interesting draft pieces, a lot of interesting things to do in the draft. You can start using picks and champions as sort of resources, which Johnny, you brought up prior to you disconnecting last week. But yeah, I think
okay, I'm glad
really
that got through because I was wondering if I needed to go on another rant or not.
No, you brought up a very good point. Last week, obviously, the Ivern got taken away, and that was a champion that's very strong, and it's very fundamentally strong right now. So I like to see how these teams kind of go through as we blast through the bans right now. The Lee Sin being taken away from Dizzy here, that's appropriate. They have a Lee Sin 1-trick on their team, but the Zac, the Lilia, and the Victor are all going to be just target bans across the board. Typically, what you'll see in Blue BOL Masters is you're going to take out the best players, strongest champions, and then we'll start getting into real drafts. As Kaisa B1 here, I got to believe there was better B1s than Kaisa.
Well, it's a takeaway, right? You don't want to give this over to Rocourt, who has 1.3 million mastery on Kaisa. Now, he did get to play Kaisa last week. I think he went 4-1-2. His team could not get the dub, unfortunately, but this is the champion that you're almost inclined to pick and to take away. But that does present a whole host of its own problems because, as we all know, Kaisa doesn't exactly have too much maneuverability in the lane phase. Really needs to get in your face to deal a lot of damage. So, a champion like Ashe on the other end getting locked in should make life a little difficult.
Yeah, forces the cleanse from Kaisa as well. Not allowed to take stuff like maybe the exhaust or the heal or the barrier that we typically see. Kaisas love to dive in and stack the ultimate shield with the barrier shield and just never die here. We'll see if Yippie heads into a full dive composition. And that champion, my friend, is absolutely turbo busted. It got a couple small buffs here and there in the jungle, and it is just so good right now. You can kind of ham-fist it anywhere. We saw the buffs come in with the recent patches. I'm expecting more Jarvan compositions or Narvan comps where you can get the Cataclysm into the Gnar ultimate, and that's a free guaranteed stun here. So we'll see if Team Dizzy like to double that up. Now that's a big pick, as well as the Xin Zhao coming in, another champion that got a small set of buffs, but also works well into the Jarvan because the ultimate can deny the flag and drag if he decides to open up with that. So a lot of small mechanical outplays both the junglers can do against each other and for their team.
Yeah, this jungle matchup is going to be quite interesting because we have Dark Lord on the Xin Zhao, champion that he has played quite a bit of. Meanwhile, Devil Pikachu is largely at least in one trick. He's played quite a bit of Gragas in solo queue, and those picks were just not good, not available, denied last week. He was able to play Vi and J4, and had some solid showings on these facilitators, but clearly not as well practiced on the Jarvan as Dark Lord is on the Xin Zhao. We're going to see our mid lane matchup here. It's going to be Hui versus Orianna, and while I think Xin Zhao Hui is a little bit more powerful to start the game, you can never understate Jarvan Orianna, the flag and drag ball combo.
Yeah, I mean, you're not playing this for the 2v2. You're going to play it for the team fight potential, the ability to, like you said, Cataclysm into Orianna ball. The ball delivery system is very, very good. It is very telegraphed, so you can kind of play around it. It's not as instantaneous as something like the Nocturne Ori, where that's very difficult to play around because of how the interactions work. But I expect Team Dizzy to at least get one or two off before Yippie actually respects it. Always kind of interesting to see how teams start playing around these wombo combos, because you always get hit with one or two, and then you're like, okay, this is the range in which they can kill us in. Let's play a little bit farther back as we do get into the second round of pick ban here, and they're just going to take out more top laners. I think that's what you should do. Both teams are not willing to early pick any of their top laners, so taking stuff out like the Gnar, the Renekton that we hope that we see right now. I think Yippie should throw a Gnar ban in just so Team Dizzy can't get the free combo.
Yeah, and I also really like that they're going after these aggressive top laners like Renekton, because Dizzy's top laner, DDDDDDDD, was pretty much a carry player, right? He played Renekton last week, played some other really, really strong options. But both of these top laners are really that prototypical type of top laner. We've gone over the days of playing tank tops and being a good boy for your team. Now you're the one who's like, I'm going to carry the game. And seeing these bans come across, make them dig a little bit deeper into their pockets in game one of Fearless.
Yeah, nice one-item power spike kind of top laners that get really, really strong with something like a Sundered Sky. The Renekton, obviously, with the item changes and his ability changes that have happened a while ago, he kind of is one of those champions that is deceptively very tanky. That's another champion that's going to get taken off the board here, although I don't know what that last ban is here. At least it's bugging out on the Blue Otter thing. Cassante is going to be picked up as a very big blindable top laner here. Not many champions can just go toe-to-toe with Cassante anymore.
No, the good news is Cassante isn't as big of a lane menace as he used to be. He shouldn't be getting solo kills if if you're going toe-to-toe with him. As mentioned, that last ban was Camille. But Gwen into the Cassante, you know what? That's perfectly fine. Everybody's going to really enjoy that. Whenever you can get a Gwen into Cassante, you are a happy camper.
Yeah, doubling up on the magic damage is my only concern, because now you can just kind of build a ton of MR and negate both Hui and Gwen. That is always the big thing about taking these double magic damage champions. And now you kind of force Kaisa to go into that 100% like AD kind of crit Kaisa, the dive Kaisa that we typically see. She can't really opt in for that poke variant because of how much magic damage is already on the team here. I actually liked the Poppy hover, and I was kind of hoping they would go for it, given how many champions have an innate dash on the side of Team Dizzy here, and it also preemptively would have stopped the Rakan that they're hovering right now. But instead, they opt for the Braum, which is not a bad peel option by any means, but it takes a little bit more to function, right, with the Glacial Fissure. Poppy is just press the W, Jarvan's not allowed to play the game, Cassante's not allowed to play the game. in this scenario, going Braum opens yourself up toward these double ranged lanes, and Senna, despite the nerfs, is still very good. You still can go the Enchanter version or the Black Cleaver Rush if you want to shred armor really quickly. A lot of different variants you can go, but it's going to be really good into this Kai'Sa Braum specifically because of the way Ashe and Senna function, the slows, the auto attacks. It gets really, really nasty in this lane here. I really like Team Dizzy's composition because the ease of execution is so low.
Yeah, it's not bad when it comes to that. However, I'm with Team Yippie's comp, right? I think this bot lane is going to be absolutely nasty. You get hit by one Winter's Bite, you're probably dying. You've double squishies down there. You can't heal through that early on in the game. And taking a look at the rest of the team, where's the lockdown for this Gwen? It doesn't exist. It's not here. Is the lockdown in the room with us, Shibby? And the Xin Zhao is also going to be able to kind of pop off. Meanwhile, Kai'Sa's going to be flying at you, and Hui's just going to be back there throwing his paintbrush and dealing a bunch of damage. I don't know. I feel like this composition on the side of Team Dizzy lacks hard CC and lacks a lot of damage. And on the other side, Team Yippie, sure, they might lack some hard CC, but they don't really need it.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying in terms of like there's no point and click stun for the Gwen, right? You can try to capture in the Cataclysm, but that you can kind of just hop over and rip through your team. I think the big thing for these team fights and how they should play out is that the K'Sante will just ult the Gwen away, right, as soon as possible. Like, his job is to just get her out of the fight, because the Wombo combo coming out from Team Dizzy will just shred Hui, right? It will shred champions like Hui, like Kai'Sa if she can't get the Killer Instinct onto the backline. Although there is a lot of, like, sneaky tankiness on the side of Yippie, right? With the Hollowed Mist, with the Xin Zhao ultimate that prevents a lot of range damage coming in, which is going to be like the Senna, the Ashe, and potentially the Orianna here. I think Team Yippie's comp is a lot harder to execute in team fights, and when we come to these kind of leagues where it's BOL Masters, yeah, you get higher level play for sure, don't get me wrong, they're all very good players, but ease of execution is almost always king here, unless Team Yippie is on like very specialized champions that they have a ton of mastery on.
I don't know, man. I don't really think this is that difficult to execute. What are you trying to execute here? You just kind of like go in and fight them. It's not, the only person who has to really worry is like Gwen has to make sure like, okay, I'm getting a good flank here. Like, other than that, you're just kind of like gonna run at them and throw your spells at them. That's really what I see out of Team Yippie. And on the other side, on Team Dizzy, I have a feeling that they might try to make a picture perfect fight happen. And, maybe it comes together, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Like, I understand the ease of execution, and I think you are right. It is on the side of Team Dizzy, but I don't really think there's, like, a burden on Team Yippie either.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, they're not, like, playing on a knife's edge for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is, like, it is, like, not super difficult. I'm just saying, like, running into this Ashe, this Senna, right? The Orianna, like, the zone control and the terrain control that Team Dizzy has makes it very difficult for Team Yippie to kind of like walk into choke points or walk into dragon, that kind of stuff, right? Xin Zhao should be pretty solid with the Hui in the 2v2. I also think that obviously Xin Zhao Gwen is going to win out in the top side against Jarvan K'Sante, so there's a lot of opportunities to get like the famous Hex grubs, right? Where you get 6 stacks of grubs. You can even go for potentially the Herald, and you can just have this split push Gwen not be answered at all. It's not like K'Sante is going to be able to really match her in the side lane. At some point, this game's going to be about what can we do about the Gwen in the side lane. Like, that's what it should be about, at least for Team Yippie. Can she get flanks off? Are there TP wards available for her to rip through the back lane, right? That's where she's going to make a lot of her money. If not, stick her in a side lane, keep her there. And if K'Sante's in the side lane, it'll be really nice for Team Yippie specifically to try to get some of these fights off. They have a really good amount of poke. Even if the Kai'Sa does go 80 and attack crit, whatever build, the W's are still going to hurt. Obviously, Hui is a long-range, like, artillery-style mage. There's a lot of damage that can be put into Team Dizzy before Team Dizzy can really do anything. And the main thing is that they just have to rely on this, possibly Enchanter Senna, getting a ton of heals off using that Q on constant cooldown. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I feel like Team Dizzy's comp just rocks people in these dragon fights.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, these objective fights, Team Dizzy certainly has the advantage. It's just a matter of, will Team Dizzy get far enough ahead that this Gwen doesn't matter in the side lane, or Will Team Yippie be able to keep things nice and calm and allow the red carpet to get rolled out for this Gwen to skip on down and snip the health bars down? We're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we will give you the Game 1 action between Team Yippie and Team Dizzy. Don't go anywhere. See you soon. All right, everybody, we have made it on to Summoner's Rift here. Game 1 between Team Yippie and Team Dizzy, going head-to-head on Summoner's Rift. Remember, this is Team Yippie's first game of the season as they were on bye week 1, so a little bit of extra rest. Hopefully they come out of the gate strong and not like most teams in NFL season week 1 of a new season.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough here as both teams are 5 stacking on opposite sides. Let's see if Team Yippie actually does get some vision down here. Team Dizzy's not going to drop anything, right? They're going to come into their jungle. Let's see. I want to see if Team Yippie is actually going to be able to do something. They're not. They're not going to stick around. They don't care. They're just going to drop the singular red buff ward. I thought they would attempt to drop a raptor ward as well, but they don't do that either. And Dark Lord actually had a ward trinket to drop, but he ended up swapping it for a sweeping. So
Oh, Devil
Yeah.
Pikachu, he's not a knower. He's got no
Yeah.
idea.
he doesn't know. He thinks nothing happened.
Does he know?
They're gonna know exactly where he starts. This is gonna be good because obviously Jarvans love to cheese. They love that level 2, get the first buff and just run to top or mid here. So depending on where he goes, we'll see either Gwen or Hui here back off the wave here. But interesting start for Team Yippie here as they get the vision down, and Team Dizzy just didn't care. They went for the bottom lane vision. That was about it.
Yeah, and this obviously does mean a lot for this top lane because the moment you get to the 2-minute 30-second mark, if this Jarvan's not in your lane, he's not on the top side of the map anymore. You're able to just kind of have fun and do Gwen things. And on the bottom side, that does mean that Dark Lord does have the option to go for the vertical jungling here, get into that bottom side jungle. It does present a bit of a problem because Brocourt and Scholar are, doing their thing here in the bottom lane. And I think one thing to note is, I think they swapped positions. I think last week, Scholar was in the mid lane and Temtem was supporting.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably still trying to figure out their roster and see what's best for themselves here. Having that option is nice as well because, different champion pools and different players can give you different options, especially in a format like True Fearless. Being able to flex players around is probably a bigger advantage than most people seem. As that hawk shot did come out from Real Court, so they actually know where Dark Lord is. They know he's going to go to the top side, so DD, I'm just going to call him DD. I'm not going to say his full name, DD in the top
Oh, come
side
on,
here.
call him by the full Govy.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
least
the
once.
DDDD. Yeah, DDDD. We'll see if he gets a pop
Uh-oh.
play here.
What do we say about Winter's Bite? Stun going down. Blast auto is there. Sneaky Turret getting first blood. And they're going to look for Rogue Court next. Does get hit by the Winter's Bite. The minions are doing a little bit too much damage. Good stuff there from Team Yippie.
That was instantaneous. You saw the moment that Winter's Bite hit, they went for the flash, confirm onto the stun here, and Dark Lord actually takes out the ward from DD here, so Sante can just play safe. He knows where a Xin Zhao is, and Devil Pikachu on this Jarvan maybe look to get a gank off. Tons of summoners were burned. There's only thing that's left on the side of Team Yippie is that cleanse here, and that's not going to help a flag and drag at all.
Yeah, you got to get this done down here. It's exactly what it looks like Devil Pikachu is going to do, but the question is, are they going to be able to get it back off? He's just standing there menacingly, channeling his recall. Now he's going to engage onto the Braum. It is just Devil Pikachu right now, so, a bit of a wasted turn here out of the Jarvan.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd sneak into that Tribush a little bit sooner. Uh-oh, DD.
Yeah, Dark Lord is looking to impact this game and put it firmly in control of Team Yippie as the best name getting the pickup on the kill.
Yeah, really interesting from DD, right? Saw that Xin Zhao was on the top side, cleared the ward out, still decided to play pretty aggressively. Maybe thought he was a little too tanky, thought he could get away with the ghost, didn't even burn that really. Just a little bit of disrespect, especially because your jungler's on the bottom side as well. Typically, as a top laner, when your jungler's on the opposite side of the map, you don't want to play super aggressively.
Yeah, and, insert best name getting the shove in could be a little problematic here because Jarvan is on his way and DDD wants to fight. He's hit level 5. He's got half HP. Hell, he could probably win a 1v1 by himself. That ghost has been burned as well. Devil Pikachu's trying to get closer, but DDD is taking a lot of damage from the minions. They're going to go back in onto the Gwen. Good flash there from Devil Pikachu. Able to pick up that kill. Good stuff.
Okay, he knows the tech. He knows the flag and drag and flash to get the knock up here. Was able to get that martial cadence, that passive, that to get buffed. Really nice kill. Really nice pickup. It does go on to Devil Pikachu, and that's going to open up the opportunity for Dark Lord to take this dragon without much punish, right? The grubs aren't coming up for another 30 seconds here, so there is an opportunity for Dark Lord and potentially M2O here to roam up to that grubs after the dragon and deny all the objectives here. I think personally, if you're on Team Yippie side, you really want to get 6 grubs here. You want to get that split pushing power for the Gwen and make it that much easier for her to split those side lanes here. And look at this, M2O is already in the mid lane, getting that push on so they can work for these grubs here. While you look on the side of Devil Pikachu, he's got to go to his bot side because that's where his camps spawned. His red buff isn't going to come back up for another about minute.
Yeah, and DDD shoved in because he didn't have teleport available to get all the way back, so Best Name was able to get the advantage there. Should be pretty free grubs for the side of Team Yippie. Picking up both objectives early on is exactly what you want out of your jungler. Same KP as well. You know what? You will happily take that as... I like the response here as Devil Pikachu's going to look to move in with the rest of the squad on the bot lane to force Sneaky Turd off the wave.
A massive, that's like 2 waves right there, including because it's a cannon. That's really disgusting. Let's see if Sneaky Turd can even walk in to get some XP. It might be in XP range for some of those casters, but realistically misses a massive wave, so you kind of have to hope that Insert on the top side can make use of those grubs, because that was the trade-off, right?
Oh! Ooh, Temtem just barely going to survive as Fights was looking for a fight there. That Severing Bolt does so much damage. Shield luckily just enough. Just take a look, another live looking at the bottom lane here. Almost 3 plates, about to be 3. Yes, indeed, 3. Taking away a 26 CS lead for Roquart right now, despite the kill going over to Sneaky Turd early.
Yeah, that kill gets negated. Look, they're up in gold right now simply because M2O went to that top side, got the grubs that you drop 3 plates, you drop massive amounts of waves and EXP in gold, and that all goes into Roquart and Scalar's hand. Yeah, Sneaky Turd, that kill didn't matter as top side. Dark Lord's back here again.
Yeah, that needlework is doing a bunch of work as DD trying desperately to get back to the turret, but it's not enough. The numbers game too strong for Team Yippie, and they are cementing themselves in this early game. Cleanse got used early. Sneaky Turt's got to go back in because you have to stand and fight. They're trying to tag Roquart to stun him, but Sneaky Turt is going to fall, and now rifling away, forcing the flash out of that Braum. This bottom lane is the lone shining beacon for Team Dizzy.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so, right? Arguably 2 of their best players in this bottom side. You might take the Kai'Sa away, but the mechanics still have to be on Roquart, right? The Ash is still a champion that does a ton of damage, right? With the PTA, if you can get that stacking here, slows upon slows. And like you said, the cleanse, it doesn't really matter. It got invested a little too early. Now there's a window of opportunity for Roquart and Scalar to ult Sneaky Turt and get another kill. Like, he might actually die 2 or 3 more times because he invested the cleanse early and it didn't really do much.
Yeah, at least they'll have his flash available, but this is really bad. And you know, this is the risk that you run when you have a hard carry champion like Gwen in the top lane and another carry champion like Kai'Sa in the bottom lane. Dark Lord had to choose one, and Sneaky Turd has fallen on his face, so Insert Best Name can run, but I mean, even he is 1 and 2.
Yeah, and you see Temtem? Uh-oh, there we go, there's the kill.
Yeah, that Enchanted Crystal Arrow landed flush. Devil Pikachu is here, trying to do what they can to help out Scholar, but Scholar has run out of room. Now it's a 2v1, but I expect Devil Pikachu can win that. And Sneaky Turret using the ultimate to get out of the Cataclysm. No flash left available, but won't get knocked up there. No ability to turn, so it'll just be a 1-for-1.
Bit of an early play. I don't mind the investment of the Ash Arrow, but they just don't have the damage, right? Senna is not really building towards damage at the moment. He didn't have the Phage or the Longsword prior to that fight. He actually ended up dying and picking that up in the base here. You get the kill, and yeah, you're able to zone Sneaky Turt off of more CS and more gold here, but that kill coming back to his pocket probably could have been avoided as the top side.
It's just 1v1s. It's just 1v1s on 1v1s, man. Insert Best Name finishing his first item and taking this Cassante to school.
Yeah, Dark Lord being handsomely rewarded, right? His investments are paying off, and now we see what's happening. We see where the gold, where all the money is being made here. Gwen super far ahead right now, 4,300 to 3,000 gold. It's a 1,300 gold lead, and it's all sequestered onto Team Yippie's top laner insert here. That turret goes down. That's another 500 gold or so. Yeah, we are in
It was
a
725 gold, Shibby.
Really? It was. Yeah, we're in a chasm in the top side, by the way.
Yeah, you got to remember, it's first turret and it's bricks. He was bricked up, picked up 5 of them. Dark Lord getting a little too close, but there's not a whole lot Team Dizzy can do. Devil Pikachu gets there. Stun goes down as well, and now they're finally able to converge onto Dark Lord. Fitz can't really help him out. Gets onto Scholar here, and they're gonna make it a 1-for-0 for right now. That will at least be traded out once Roquart gets close, but Dark Lord smurfed that fight, and Fitz has the damage teleport coming in from the Orianna on the backside. Now Gwen is looking to find their way, and Shockwave lands, but it's not doing a whole lot right now, as Roquart will be able to find a way out to the relative safety of the Cassante.
And Dark Lord using the Sundered Sky and the Xin Zhao passive to live as long as possible and extend that fight well beyond its means. Is potentially a chase here, although Imp Duo might just give us Gwen.
Oh, it went onto Roquart, and Roquart's Goose is cooked, and now Cassante with Ghost trying to get closer to this Braum, but it's just not so. He'll be able to survive. It'll be 2 kills for the Gwen. Shibby, this is back-breaking.
Imp Duo might hand a kill over. No, it's not going to happen.
Oh, it's so doomed. Gwen's going to go back in, going to get knocked up. Yeah, Dark Lord has returned. The Dark Lord has returned, and guess what? You don't have a turret to run to. It's another kill for the Gwen. Devil Pikachu saying, I gotta get the hell out of here. Put me back at the Pokeball.
He's running back to his trainer, back to his mid laner here, and I'm gonna be honest, Yanni, Team Dizzy's Wombo won't matter if Yippie is 4,000 gold ahead, right? That doesn't matter. You can just slap him with your wallet and tank the Wombo and keep going. Insert best name on the top side here. 5-2-1. He just got back with a needlessly large rod, picked up a couple more kills, picks up a little bit more CS. He might just return with Rabadon's Death Cap. A 2-item power spike around the 14-minute mark can just absolutely blow this game wide open as if it hasn't already been opened enough.
Yeah, 6 grubs on top of it. You didn't see, but Sneaky Turt was in the bottom lane that entire time. Got 2 plates for themselves. Kind of, pulled this gold lead a little closer in terms of the bottom lane. And it's just all Team Yippie jumping and cheering and screaming and crying and throwing up right now, our Team Dizzy.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because you don't even necessarily outscale a team like Team Yippie, right? They've got Kai'Sa, they've obviously got the Gwen, even Hui, 4 or 5 items in. It becomes really rough. But yeah, Temtem's gonna hit some massive shockwaves, but Ashe, I've held this before. Ashe doesn't do more damage than Kai'Sa, man. Like it's gonna be rough here as a potential 2v2 in this bot side. Bottom lane versus mid jungle here as the lane assignments have been shifted, rightfully so. I don't think Roquart and Scalar would be safe in that bot side.
Not at all. I mean, you see what Temtem was doing to Sneaky Turt as Roquart just gets eaten alive by Dark Lord. I mean, this is just getting absolutely ridiculous at this point. Absolutely running this game 3-1-4. The top side has spread their lead to mid and bot. This is exactly what you want out of a team in a competitive game.
Yeah, I mean, he literally just walked in and keyed onto a Devil Pikachu. Although, might see another 2v2, 2v3 now.
Oh yeah, Shockwave goes down, it lands on all 3. Sent all over the top, but it's not going to save the Jarvan. He can't even lock them all up, and this turret ain't going to be long for this world. As Temtem desperately trying to get away, desperately trying to survive. Not able to take out the Dark Lord. The Demon Lord survives once more, and the turret will fall. Enchanted Crystal Arrow not going to land on anybody. Imp Duo really wants this kill. Sneaky Turt really wants the kill, but might find himself in a bit of a bad spot. Temtem trying to get closer. His flash is down. Get there. No, can't do it. More kills slipping out of the fingers of Team Dizzy.
Team Yippie is playing to the knife's edge, right? Their composition may not be super difficult, and we're gonna see that. That's gonna happen 1,000.
He's only worth 200 gold. He's got a Zeke's convergence.
Yeah, yep. DD's going the budget tank build on a top laner. Typically, you see that out of like a Sejuani in the jungle and Maokai in the jungle because they're low income. But right now, DD might be making less money than Devil Pikachu right now. I like unironically, he might have less gold. So he's just gonna go tank.
Bro's not low income. Yeah, he does. Bro's on an unpaid internship right now.
Yeah, he's getting exploited in the top lane 100% by insert best name here, and rightfully so. Dark Lord invested those early ganks into the Gwen. DD played a little too aggressive in that top side one too many times, and this Gwen was able to just run away with that lead here. And like you said, 2-item power spike, 15 minutes in, picks up the death cap here, so I was a little off by a minute, but I mean, this is just, you cannot fight if Gwen is even in the vicinity.
You can't fight if Gwen is in the same game. She doesn't even need to be close at this point, Shibby. It is really a walloping here. Team Yippie in firm control, up 7,500 gold, and they've only taken 2 structures. There's 2 turrets down. That's it. There's so much more standing gold on the map for them, and they are so strong. They're only going to get stronger as this Rift Herald is going to go into their pockets as well.
You say standing gold, it's going to be falling gold, right? It's falling into these pockets eventually.
Temtem is just dead. Devil Pikachu just dies, just gets hit by some sewing needles, and that's a wrap. And fights and insert best name are just going to shove onto this bottom wave. Look at the mid lane here. The turret's going to go down. M2O just trying to use a zoning ultimate there to make sure that mid turret got secured. But yes, now it is falling gold. You are absolutely right.
Falling into their pockets right now. Nice, big, meaty 750 gold or 800 gold nearly split between these guys here. Just insane. I mean, I don't think you can stop these two. Like, realistically, you need all 5 members here, and that's going to cause the Rift Herald to get dropped into the mid lane, which is going to give a tier 2 turret in the mid for Team Yippie. So they're just using their power correctly here. Let's see if they actually try to ride it in. Never mind. They're going to back off. They're going to reset. Yeah, they're going to reset. They're going to go for the dragon here. They could just do what they want. We are in the Baron waiting room, Yanni. Literally, we're in the Baron waiting room. They are 10,000 gold ahead at the 17-minute mark. It'll take 5, maybe 6 miracles for Team Dizzy to get back into this.
5 or 6. That's a bit on the low end. I mean, this is just what happens when you get a week 1 bye, baby. You get a week 1 bye. You come out refreshed for week 2. You get to see the game tape on the other team, and despite the role swap, not really going to be enough. This dragon going to be up in about 10 seconds here. I suppose the good news for Team Dizzy is that not only do you get to play at least 1 more game, but there are some shutdowns that you can claim, and you have objective bounties up. There are still all the turrets standing for Team Yippie, so if a critical mistake is made, you could slingshot your way back in.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with 1, right? Sneaky turret does go down, the dragon being taken. He just kind of gets caught out of position there, so nice
Happy
from
gaming.
them. Yeah, and they're going to maybe look to kill insert best name here, but I think he's liable to 1v3, man.
Oh, yeah, he's just going to crush it. The shockwave goes down, doesn't even do any damage, man. And oh my god, 1 usage of that ultimate as best name is just sliding through. Scholar falls as well. Devil Pikachu says, I will die for the turret, but he's not going to. He's not going to get the turret, and guess what, Shibby? I think he's just going to die anyway. The flash gets forced, but when not fast enough, was finally able to flag and drag his way out. The 1v2, the Dark Lord burns the flash and falls again. So you're getting a couple of wins here, a couple of wins there.
I'm trying to calculate, would it have been better for him to get the turret with the bounties and him just dying anyways? Like, I'm trying to really, like, I think it would have actually been a net positive play for them.
Ooh, yeah, it would have been good for his team. Best name, level 14, just takes the turret in the face, and now in a 1v4, trying to just kite this one out. Braum coming through to help out. Look at the damage. It's just coming out from this Gwen. They're turning it all around, and from the backside, the Ashe will finally regroup and say, hey, listen, let's get out of there. Grasping Ball, along with a Spiraling Despair, is going to pop so hard and take out the Ashe. It is a 1-for-1 for right now, but Gwen is immune, and there's just too much damage coming through. It's a triple kill for Fitz. Temtem is able to get that big shutdown on the way out, but is the only one standing on the team.
Do it.
Oh, he doesn't have to learn. It's on cooldown too, so Sneaky Turret was not going to be able to make that happen. That is a big shutdown going over to Temtem.
Yeah, but insert best name has more gold than like 2 carries on the side of Team Dizzy. He's 11,000 gold.
Yeah, it's just not enough.
Yeah, Gwen is just popping off here, feeling himself a little bit. Picks up the Medjais as well, rightfully so. Got 10 stacks on that Dark Seal very, very quickly, and yeah, it's rough. This wombo combo composition that Team Dizzy have drafted for themselves just can't get it done because they're so far behind in gold, and that's like one of the big weaknesses, right? You kind of concede a lot of the early game. You try to play for these team fights, but if you're down 4,000 gold come like second dragon or herald or second spawn of grubs, it becomes really rough, right? And when teams don't respect champions like Xin Zhao and their early ganking power, this is what happens. Games just get run away with. Really good from Team Yippie. And we talked about them having the bye week in week 1. They had 2 weeks technically to prepare for this matchup. Looks like they really just had a really good draft, right? I mean, the Gwen into Cassante was an amazing pickup, and also the Xin Zhao into the Jarvan.
Yeah, it's been really good. They're going to get collapsed on from pretty much every angle, forced to the bottom of their jungle, but guess what? Gwen's on that side of the map too. Devil Pikachu just trying to say, go, my friends, run, run, fly away, desperately get out of there, but they're in the neighborhood of that Gwen. And insert best name, I don't know how interested they are in actually getting the kill, but I do know that Team Yippie is interested in this Baron. Shibby, couple of questions here, really just one big question. At this point, you have to look toward the next game. Devil Pikachu, kind of surprised he went to the bot lane with Roquart being the best player on the team. Didn't really need the help against Sneaky Turret. Could have been better served to stay up top.
I can't really blame Devil Pikachu, right? Because his top laner kind of died when he was on the other side of the map. Like, he started top side, he clears his camps, he goes bot side, he clears his camps, he figures out, okay, I can maybe help my bottom lane here. Mind you, they denied a lot of gold from Sneaky Turret, right? Imtua went for that topside grub play. He lost 3, I believe, plates in that bottom side. Roquart and Scalar ended up negating that early bottom lane kill that happened, the 2v2. They're up 400 gold. All DD has to do is play safe. Realistically, I don't know if I can blame this on Jarvan necessarily. Why would you gank your Cassante that's playing into the Gwen? It's not like getting Cassante more gold is going to win them this game, right? You play for Temtem, you play for Roquart, you play to deny Kai'Sa away back into this game here. Supposedly just DD died one too many times.
And 1 too many times, 2 too many times, 3 too many times. It was a lot of times that he went down. 24 kills to 8 right now as Team Yippie is looking to put the finishing touches on a statement game 1 here in their week 1. The actual league's week 2 as Gwen continues to put pressure on the top side. Devil Pikachu trying to get in there. Can they get the shockwave combo off? It did, but it didn't do anything. And now Scholar is going to be the next target. He's going to get popped. It's a double kill for Sneaky Turret, who I'm sure is really happy that they're getting into the game and doing some damage. And that will do it. A clean ace for the side of Team Yippie in 23 minutes. Put a shellacking on Team Dizzy.
Absolute 1v9 performance from insert best name here. Granted, some solid supporting actors, Dark Lord and Fitz here, just doing a massive, massive job in their own right here. I mean, Dark Lord put the investment in and just allowed Gwen to run free here. And he talked about looking towards the next game. Well, the one thing that Team Dizzy does have in their favor is that these champions cannot be picked again. We are in true fearless for BOL Masters Season 12 here, Week 2 of this matchup. And I mean, it just kind of, it's scary now because what other counter picks does insert best name have, right? Like what else can he pull out? If he's able to pull a Gwen performance like this, 33,000 damage, by the way, had more damage than his whole team combined, I believe. Let me do the mental math. That's 28. Okay, all right, maybe not his whole team, but 3 members. He does more damage than 3 of his members here. That's a 1v9 performance I've ever seen it.
Yeah, you really can't say much more than that. I mean, this was a LeBron-esque performance, you know, prime LeBron, prime Steph out of insert best name here. But listen, the rest, as you said, the rest of the team, it's kind of hard to give them their flowers, but they also had pretty good games themselves. Obviously, Sneaky Turret, probably happy. It's just like, all right, well, you decided to put me in the dirt, but guess what? The rest of my team is just a little too strong. And we'll see what Team Dizzy can do to try to find a way back in, because I'm sure they were left dizzy after this game. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we will give you the Game 2 draft between Team Dizzy and Team Yippie. Do not go anywhere, because I'm sure Team Dizzy ain't taking this one sitting down. Welcome back, everybody, to Blue Otter Masters with Team Yippie leading the series 1-0 against Team Dizzy. Team Dizzy looking to bite back and force a Game 3 in the series. Remember, we are in full Fearless, so the grayed out champions you see on the sides of your screen are champions that are not available to be played by either team this game. Taking a look at the bans, eerily similar to the last time around, although Jin is a bit of a wrench coming out here.
Yeah, red side specifically, Yippie's probably gonna have a bit of a different band stage here. It seems like Team Dizzy are gonna still remove a lot of these like more comfort or one-trick champions. I'm not gonna say one-trick, but more comfort champions, right? Zac and Xin Zhao, two of Dark Lord's most played champions, are on the list of two of his most played here. So we'll see what he defaults to. He's arguably gonna be on like maybe his 4th or 5th best champion, but honestly, doesn't matter as long as insert best name gets like a nasty counter pick, which he's primed for, by the way, on red side. You can chalk the game up again potentially.
Well, Devil Pikachu should be getting this Maokai here. Remember, more of a facilitator jungler. Had a good individual performance in the last game in terms of actually looking at the score line, but the rest of it really wasn't there. Obviously, the team just kind of fell apart around him. We are seeing this Udyr come through as a really strong pick out of Team Yippie here. Don't know where it's going to go. You know, it feels like it could still go top or it could still go jungle.
There's no way that's an insert best name champion, right? You don't just
What
drop a 15 kill Gwen game and be like, lock
me on Udyr
right now. Yeah, put me
Lock
on.
me, Udyr.
Give me Iguodala. That's not what you do,
Give
bro.
me Iguodala.
That's not what you do. I'm pretty sure it's going to go into the jungle. One of those champions that does very good into the Maokai, by the way, because of Udyr's nature of him cycling camps so quickly, he can just kind of outpace Maokai. Maokai's going to be forced onto the offensive. He's going to have to use his flash, twisted advance, or he's going to have to get a bunch of ganks off. And if he fails those ganks, if he doesn't get kills or doesn't succeed on any of these, Udyr is just going to run circles around him. The camp farming and champ farming that he's going to do is just going to be insane and too much for Team Dizzy to handle here. I like Yippie's draft right now. Udyr, Ezreal, it's pretty solid. Doesn't really give a lot away here. They're going to put Mr. Cassante back on tank duty. Now he's going to go onto the Ornn. Doubling up on the tanks. I don't know if you want to take a tank into them. There's other champions other than Gwen that does really well into tanks here. You could lock the Aatrox for insert best name here if you really want. Instead, they're going to save, like I suggested, the counter pick till the very end. But that's going to open up some more champions of his to get banned out.
I gotta say, I'm really surprised they put DDDDDDD on a tank champion because they hovered that Yone, and I was like, this is exactly what they're going to pick. This is a DDD champion. Like, this is what you want. And, you know, I had a pretty good game on it last week, and they just elect not to go with it. So, you know, they're two big tanks. Meanwhile, the other side, Team Yippie, looks like they have plenty of damage already. And I can only imagine that they're just going to try to get more damage at this point since the support role seems to be locked up. They're going to make sure that Yone does not find a way in. No trickiness, no Ornn and a champion not named Senna in the bot lane and Caitlyn in the mid lane or something like that. Just making sure to cover all their bases.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, I expect Team Dizzy to ban more top laners out. I mean, Aurora is both a top laner and a mid laner in my mind. The Lux being removed, taking that Lux Caitlyn away. I like that because they locked the Ezreal Karma in. They have the better poke lane now. They just fundamentally, there's no other champion that can like pair up with the Caitlyn that can out poke, quote unquote, the Ezreal Karma. So you can go for a different angle. You can go for more sustain, right? Something like a Soraka, potentially like a Lulu or an Enchanter that allows them to, instead of trade poke for poke, they answer the poke with sustain or with shielding here. But that Olaf's going to get locked in, and I mean, that's a tough matchup for the Ornn. He literally can't do anything.
It's curtains. It's curtains. Who's going to stop this Olaf? You're certainly not going to stop him with the damage that you have.
You don't even
And
have
you ain't
Jarvan
going to stop
him
him with the CC that you have because you've got 2 melee champions on your team. About to be 3 melee champions on your team. Shibby, I don't know, man. This seems like a... I listen. You know I'm not like this. Many people might not know, but this seems like a turbo draft gap for Team Yippie here in their favor. It is disgusting what I'm witnessing.
Yeah, the Blitzcrank as an answer just to like potentially grab
Ezreal?
the karma. It's to grab the
You have
karma,
one good
right?
target.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't love it. You don't want to be grabbing the Olaf. You don't want to grab the Udyr. Like triple
Where's
melee,
their damage?
triple melee into Udyr and Olaf is
They have
not
no
going to be fun.
damage.
You're never going to reach the Ezreal. Good luck. Karma E, Mantra E is just going to work wonders. Like, yeah, I mean, you're right. Damage is definitely a concern simply because Team Dizzy just don't really have a lot here. Ari Vi was open. We didn't need to lock
there are better
Maokai.
picks than this Silas that we see here. As
Silas in the mid lane though, like I love that.
It
I
has
love
been
that
locked
into the
in.
Ari.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it is one of Silas' best matchups. I think it is his de facto best matchup. But I think there were better picks based on the team. But at this point, whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. So you may as well just go and lock in the Silas. Things looking really good for Team Yippie. Shibby, am I wrong here? Is there something else that I'm missing here out of the Team Dizzy composition?
Two things. Silas's best matchup is not Ari. It's actually Malphite. It's actually just unironically Malphite.
Dude, lane matchup. Nobody's playing Malphite mid.
Yeah. Nobody's playing Malphite mid, or like if you play Malphite top, Silas I think wins 65% of the matchup.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Sure. Everybody knows that. I'm talking about the stuff that people might not know.
Yeah, I think Silas is a monster pick here, right? You obviously have Ari ult, like you mentioned, to be taken away. Ornn ult's very good. Answering Ornn ult is very nice. Maokai ultimate as well. He changes the abilities and gets better ratios, so he just does a better version of your ultimate.
Yeah.
A full AP Maokai ultimate coming. Yeah, even the Blitzcrank ultimate is like a ton of AP ratio and a ton of damage here. I mean, this comp is really disgusting because you're going triple melee into champions that want to be melee range with you, right? Udyr loves being melee range. Olaf loves being melee range. Silas, oh man, he loves to get those Kingslayers off. He loves to get the passive going. You're never going to touch this Ezreal. You're never going to touch this Ezreal, by the way. Yeah, it's impossible.
No. Hear me out. You know what I think would have been really good here? Swain would have been a really sick pick here.
Swain would have been sick too. I
think the Silas is fine. It's a good lane for you, and you get good ultimates. Just I don't know, with the rest of the team that you have, I don't know what else I would have had in mind, but not exactly Silas, but it fits the game very, very well. I expect Team Yippie to come out on top, and that's play on the Rift notwithstanding. This is just probably one of the better teams I've seen drafted at this level in a long time.
I think the saving grace for Team Dizzy is that their best player is on a lane dominant champion, right? Like regardless of what we're seeing in the bottom lane against Ezreal Karma, if we take player skill potentially into account, Caitlyn was doing a very good job, or I'm sorry, not Caitlyn, Rokort was doing a very good job on the Kai'Sa, or on the Ashe here, putting the Kai'Sa into the dirt, denying waves, doing all that stuff. You can do all that and more with the Caitlyn. Granted, it is Ezreal Karma. You are going to get poked out here. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. As long as Blitzcrank is like body blocking most of the poke and the Caitlyn is range leashing Ezreal pretty well and getting him under the turret, there's a lot of opportunities for Team Dizzy to get a natural lane lead, specifically in that bot side. All Maokai has to do, or in this case, all Dark Lord, all Devil Pikachu has to do here is that he needs to hover the bottom side and make sure that when Udyr comes bot, he can't really get a gank off. He can't really kill his bottom lane. I would play to my bottom side. I don't know why you would ever go top side. DD just needs to play a little bit more safer, much safer than he did on the Cassante, so he doesn't allow insert best name here to go off. Granted, Gwen and Olaf, fundamentally different champions. Gwen carries a lot harder, but if you give Olaf a lead, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to run away with it. And that's exactly what insert best name is going to do here.
Feels like a very similar game to game one here. We've got the team fight composition going up against the composition that wants to get their top lane super far ahead. And we all know how that worked out the last time Team Yippie was able to come out on top. They're going to try to do it again, but Team Dizzy says, this is what we're good at. We're going to stick to it, and we are going to force a game 3. And we are going to be right back after a very short break. And when we return, we will be on the Rift for what could be our final game of the series. Team Dizzy on your blue side, Team Yippie on the red side. Don't go anywhere. See you soon. Welcome back, everybody, to Blue Otter Masters League here. Team Dizzy versus Team Yippie. Team Yippie looking to put it away. Shibby and I both think, I'm going to speak for you here, Shibby, I am. Both think that this is probably a really good draft coming out from Team Yippie, and that this is not going to be close. But you know what? We'll see what happens. We got to really take a look at the conditions of Team Dizzy here. How do they win this game? How do they take control in the mid game? It feels like they might just have to hand check, but I'm not sure.
Ward is placed out preemptively. They're able to kind of spot out what Devil Pikachu and Temtem are doing here. They know a ward was placed on their Raptor, so let's see if Dark Lord is actually able to circumvent the vision and see if he can kind of get around it. But realistically, I don't expect Team Yippie to really change their game plan all too much, right? Like Dark Lord can just invest in the top side, get Olaf ahead. They're actually going to go for what I love when Olaf do this. They just run into the enemy jungle. Maokai can't do anything. He has to just dip now.
He's going to probably die. He's going to have to flash over that thick wall, and he will. So Devil Pikachu already behind the 8-ball. I mean, yeah, you got the ghost out of the Udyr, but I mean, that's a worthy trade.
Yeah, and now he's going to cycle your top camps. He's going to cycle his own top side and go to his bottom side. He's going to get potentially a 3-camp lead here, depending on how greedy he wants to go. But Devil Pikachu can't walk back into his top side jungle, at least for a couple of minutes here. And that was all predicated on the fact that they saw Temtem and Devil Pikachu ward the Raptors, and there was not nearly enough time for Devil Pikachu to go to his bot side. Very well played. Not sure if that was reactive off of that information or they were always going to do that regardless. Like, they were going to check anyways. But I love when Olaf do that. Sometimes you'll see the Olaf just do it by himself. But having Dark Lord there to secure the camp just allows him to cycle everything. And he's already going to get into his Udyr phase very, very early on.
Yeah, he is Udyr gaming right
Okay.
now. And, oh, Devil Pikachu. Oh, yeah, because he stepped over the ward. He doesn't really know what he wants to do. This is a big problem. He is spending a lot of time.
Yeah, he's waffling about right now. They know he's here. They just don't know if he's in the jungle, and that's why Imp2O is going to look for him. Let's see if they can actually get a kill here. Let's crank hook.
He's going to try to do some damage to the hook, forcing the flash out. You know, I must say, I'm really disappointed at a Team Yippie there. They didn't converge onto Devil Pikachu like I thought. What is Devil Pikachu doing? This is the most illegal thing I've seen in my life. Devil Pikachu is just going to die here. He's an auto attack away, a shift away. And it's going to be first blood going over to Ezreal.
He's tilted, bro. He's... that's... It's just so sad. I get... Like, as a jungler, I know what he's going through. Like, I feel his pain. He gets invaded from the top side. He loses his whole top side camp. He's like, damn, if I don't do something right now, Udyr is going to be perpetually 3 camps up on me, and he's going to cycle my camp. Let me run to Udyr's bottom side here. Wait, why doesn't my Caitlyn Blitzcrank have priority? Oh, because they're playing against Ezreal Karma. All right, let me see if I can get a kill. I'm going to invest my Twisted Advance here. I'm going to see if I can get a kill. Can't get anything onto the Karma. And now he just kind of like is going back and forth because he didn't suit Udyr for a while. But little do you know, Udyr just did his Raptors and then ran bot. So now Devil Pikachu is even further behind. Can't even cycle his camp. Like, it's his fault, but also like, there's not much he can do. Like, it is a very... He has to play even more conservative than he wants to as a Maokai, even more low income than you normally would. And it's a very crappy situation. The man backed with a control ward. That's all you have to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult because you never want to... It always feels bad when you're like, all right, well, I'm going to go to my bottom quadrant because I got invaded on my top side, and I'm not going to get anything back, and... You know, my enemy jungler is going to get 3 quadrants and I'm going to get literally just 1. But sometimes you have to just accept that because, you know, now you're even further behind at this point and you're going to struggle to make an impact on this game on a champion where it's not particularly difficult to do so. And, you know, the good news is right now his team hasn't really needed him. A 9 CS lead in the top lane. Ari doing a pretty good job here on the Fitz in the mid lane. And while your bottom lane's down a kill and you'd like Caitlyn to have more CS, it's at least passable.
Yeah, it's a manageable situation for sure. I mean, as we say that, we see the best name just running down D here. A couple auto cancels. Let's see.
Yeah, never mind. He's just dead. Can't even dodge the undertow. caught in the undertow, just like Linkin Park, and that is a kill for this Olaf. Hook gonna go down onto the Karma, gonna trap underneath, but the arm time takes a little too long nowadays for them to actually claim a kill.
Yeah, and like this combo doesn't even really work. It's not like a Thresh Caitlyn, right, where you can kind of throw the trap in and then you can flay him in. Like it's a lot tougher to execute, and that hook just doesn't really result in anything. Mantra ease out or just regular ease out, and yeah, I mean Ezreal Karma are just gonna have perma push in this lane. Scalar has to hit Q after Q after Q for them to even get a kill here. I mean, Team Yippie just kind of running away with it again. And you mentioned there was a draft gap. I mean, they've done a really good job drafting. Like, they understand Fearless. It feels like they understand what to do. And now Darkwood's going to come in here. Scalar, brother!
Oh,
you have no vision!
what a bait! Kermit Wiltz is just going to fall and go down. Sneaky Turret able to claim that kill. Scholar is going to be the next target. He's going to die as well. Devil Pikachu said, I'm here, and then he said, I'm getting out of here.
Well, maybe Temtem and Devil Pikachu can buddy up here. Sneaky Turret does have Flash available.
Oh, will burn the Flash, does burn the barrier, but Temtem is just going to be able to chase him down. No charges left on that Ahri ultimate, so Sneaky Turret trying to do what he can, trying to waste time. The shutdown is there, but that also means that Karma will be able to walk out alive.
And that roam is not going to go unpunished, right? You look at the mid lane, waves are getting crashed in. This dragon is going to be Dark Lord. You can't really contest him, unfortunately. I don't think you should. Silas is walking down here. Yeah, a plate, I think, almost goes into the favor of Fitz here, but also a ton of CS. You're actually going to try to contest this?
Oh, he is going to try, because you may as well just throw something at the wall and see what sticks, but instead it's going to be Silas getting a kill. 3 kills on your AD carry. A kill apiece on your solo laners. It's exactly where you want to be. 7.5 minutes into a game. I wish I could get solo queue games like this.
Top laner as well. Insert best name. Proxying DD right now. Like, he's going to come in. He's like, yeah, I can. This is my blue buff. Yummy. Like, he's just going to take this for himself.
That's what happens. You help with the first blue buff, and the next one's yours.
Yeah, it's an equivalent exchange for the jungler and top laner here on the side of Team Yippie.
Oh,
yeah.
Damage being traded back. Wait a minute, that heal got burnt. Kermit Wiltz trying to close it out. Flash knockup onto the Karma. The root goes out. Caitlyn unable to get anything, but the hook lands on a Sneaky Turret. And Sneaky Turret goes down. It's a kill for the Caitlyn.
Kermit Wiltz here. Finally being able to dunk the layup that Scalar gave him. I'm surprised he got the...
It's dive time.
On M2O just has to leave. Yeah, I mean, you either die or just leave.
He's stuck. He's stuck. He's got nowhere to go. Twisted advance. This means that you're going to die to a hook if they decided they wanted it. Devil Pikachu. No, he trades 1 for 1. That's so illegal, Shibby.
Decides to hold on to the Flash. Thought he could get out. And you look on the top side. What did I say, Ani? You give a mouse a cookie, and he's just going to run away with the game here. Fitz is going to be able to get the kill.
So close. Oh, Temtem getting the better of them in this matchup. Quite a surprise, I might add, but that is the... Well, there are 2 shining beacons here. It's this Ahri, it's this Caitlyn, but I don't know, man. It just seems like it's going to be really, really difficult for them to do anything the further this game goes.
And the funny thing is as well, Devil Pikachu is opting in for a higher income build. He's not going Zeke's into Warmogs, into potentially Abyssal Mask. He's going Leandries. And I don't think he's going to finish this Leandries until like maybe 12, 13 minutes into the game.
I mean, he kind of has to, doesn't he?
No, I don't think...
His team doesn't have any damage, should he?
But he doesn't have any gold. Like,
I mean, yeah, you're between a rock and a hard place. I mean, his sapling's not even helping him out right now.
Yeah, it's rough. Keep a mental note of when Devil Pikachu finishes his first item. I want to know what time he does. It's going to be tough. As Dark Lord...
I want to know if we're still in the game by that time.
Yeah, DD is just kind of
getting
run
eaten
down.
Alive. He's unstoppable. Are you sure he's unstoppable? He looked very stoppable there. Valkyrie Ultimate going to be used on the bottom lane here, so this does mean I believe Devil Pikachu will be able to complete this item at some point in the game. He's going to get credit for that kill. Ace in the hole lands. Okay. Kermit Wiltz is going to get that nice trade back on the bottom side. And maybe, just maybe, we can't count out Team Dizzy just yet.
Caitlyn is 3-1. You've also got Malignant on Temtem. Now you can start really hammering those ultimates in, start roaming potentially around as you can get this wave pushed in here.
And catch up on some jungle camps here.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. Devil Pikachu's like, please, I have ganked your lane multiple times. Please, at least let me get the Gromp here. You can't go for more. You will get collapsed on here. So Gromp for his trouble. Devil Pikachu slowly lurching back into this game. But Yanni, I just want you to take a peek at the CS difference between the Udyr and Maokai. Do you notice anything abnormal?
Yeah. The one thing I noticed is that Devil Pikachu hit a clutch 3 to cut the deficit to 43.
Yeah. Dark Lord has more CS
ground.
than Dark Lord has more CS than 2 of his main laners, right? His bottom laner and his mid laner. Like that's
Dark Lord has more CS than everybody on the side of Team Dizzy.
Yeah, that's also true. As okay, Imp duo.
Yeah, they got something back. We were too busy talking about the CS numbers, and Team Dizzy said, "Listen, we don't care about killing minions. We care about killing champions." Blitzcrank gonna get credit for that one, so should be able to potentially finish those boots. We always know that first item for supports and their boots always big power spikes.
Yeah, and honestly, Team Dizzy, despite being down in gold right now, they're actually on their 1-item power spikes prior to this dragon that's coming up. So they should win this, based purely on the fact that if you press tab, or if you're the spectators or you're us, you can look at the items perpetually. Look at Malignance, look at IE, and look on the side of the other 2 individuals, their counterparts. Fitz is sitting on a couple components. Ezreal has yet to hit the Triforce. They should be able to get this dragon, and if they take a fight, they should win it. Even if Dark Lord does have the Leandries completed, Devil Pikachu's job is to peel, it's to stun, it's to root, it's not to do anything much else here. But they burned this a little too early. I would have loved for them to save this for the dragon.
Flash hook! No, such a good move from Scholars. They're able to pick up the kill, and Imp Duo can only watch. And meanwhile, look what's going on in the jungle here. Temtem is just in trouble, but he's going to be able to slide out. Silas, the Abscond Duck could not land, but here comes Olaf, and you're quickly running out of room. Ari is going to go down, and now looking for a little bit more. Ghosted up. Undertow doesn't land, but he's going to pick up that axe, and now he's Ragnarok in the house as he takes down the Blitzcrank. Devil Pikachu get chopped down like a cherry tree. George Washington in the top lane, and now the dragon should go to the side of Team Yippie.
I mean, I was a little hesitant on them burning the Maokai ultimate. They did get the kill in, but realistically, like you mentioned earlier in the draft, Yanni, and you all kind of looked at it, he's going to stop the Olaf. What are you going to do when he just presses the R button? You've got 0 CC. You don't have the Jarvan to lean back because you picked that in game 1. You can't baby cage him like you normally would. So now what he just runs at you. As long as he's there in the vicinity, once again, by the way, if insert best name is in the vicinity, you can't fight. He's got Stride Breaker. They're able to pick up that dragon. That was supposed to be Team Dizzy, by the way. They had the 1-item power spike. The Lich Bane and the Triforce were not completed by Team Yippie. Instead, they overinvest. They burn a lot of summoners. They burn a lot of cooldowns. And they're unable to take the ensuing fight that Team Yippie looks to extend here. Fitz and Hermit are going to go 1-for-1 or 1v1 here. IE on their side. Hermit should just be able to pick this tower up because of how many
members. Got a Lich Bane, by the way, does this Silas. This is gonna steal the Blitzcrank ultimate, can't quite land the Abscond of Duct. And Ari is in the area as well to try and force him off or even get a cheeky kill. Not gonna happen, but it doesn't mean the turret will go to Team Dizzy, so a little bit more gold in their pockets, only down about 3,000, so, while they're in a bad spot, they are certainly in a recoverable spot.
Yeah, it's not nearly as bad as it was in game 1. You've got a couple champions to hang your hat on here. Temtem, like we mentioned, with the Malignance, can make a lot of plays, can make things happen as long as the resets come in. Hermit Wilts as well, 3-in-1 on this Caitlyn. I mean, you can't deny what a 2-item Caitlyn can do to champions like the Silas, like the Ezreal. As long as she gets the free fire and hit from her massive range advantage, she'll be able to do some damage. Like, she'll be able to eventually get enough headshots, enough crits off that she's going to kill somebody here. Although Objective Control has been in complete control of Team Yippie here. They have not dropped a Grub. They have not dropped a Dragon. They're looking to not drop even the Herald. Like, they've got everything so far.
Yeah, it's looking pretty pristine for them in terms of objectives. They did drop a turret, but you know what? That's okay. They have no qualms about that. And this Rift Herald can get some pretty good value since that mid and bot turret do still stand. So it's just a matter of when they want to drop it and who they want to give the gold to. 15 minutes into this game now, Shibby. The champions that we expected to really get going early on, not so. However, it's insert best name and Dark Lord, who has been honestly rather quiet, but Udyr is just kind of like that. He just kind of like shows up, stuns you, and then like runs away, you know?
Well, he just plays his game, and item just got completed. 15 minutes in, Devil Pikachu just completed his Leandros, by the way. Making a mental note of that. Dark Lord, that's the thing. He doesn't have to play really aggressive. He doesn't have to play risky. He got the quadrant. He's got the lanes that are pushing in and winning. He's 136 CS in. You said he's just going to rock up and walk into these fights, but he's going to rock up and walk into these fights built like a shit brick house. Like, this guy is just going to absolutely run through Team Dizzy. It's not even funny.
Oh, Charm does land, so a lot of damage going back onto the Silas, but Temtem is just going to die under the turret. They are going to get a turret in the mid lane here, our Team Dizzy, but now it's Olaf looking to run him down. Goes 1 for 1. That's a lot of gold going over to Kermit Wiltz, who cleaned up that kill. Big shutdown. Shibby, I don't know. I'm getting a weird feeling about this game. Maybe Team Dizzy has it in them.
Maybe so, but they lose the top lane, or the bottom lane tier 1 here. A couple champions do go down. You are correct. And look, Team Dizzy has some pretty solid scaling elements. They obviously have the Ornn here, but also Caitlyn coming into 4 or 5 items is no slouch here. Ari as well. Once she hits like 5 items, I mean, she just starts one-shotting anybody she charms, right? Other than the tanks, obviously. But if she can kill somebody like the Ezreal, somebody like the Sylas, once some healing reduction comes in, probably Executioners or maybe even the Oblivion Orb, like there is a world where Team Dizzy gets ornaments and just evens up the gold lead, right? Because of how much gold value those items have. If they can maintain or even shrink this gold lead of about 3,000, as long as they keep it within this realm, ornaments just shore all that up eventually. So it becomes an even game very, very quickly. They just have to make it to that point. And Ornn right now is level 12. Hook comes in.
That's a lot of damage going on. Imtuo trying to get away. Call the Forge God coming out here. It's going to knock up Silas, but see if Silas can respond with his own. He gets knocked up again, taking way too much damage. And it's Caitlyn claiming the kill. And it feels like Team Yippie are a little disconnected here. Flash hook lands, but the arcane shift should be able to get him out. Gonna get hit up by that Maokai, but Maokai tanking far too much, and he will go down. Just chasing a little too far here, Team Dizzy.
And look at topside. Look at what Dark Lord did, by the way. Popped the Rift Herald before he backed into the topside. So now, insert best name has a buddy in the topside ready to help him push down. Ooh, is he going to be able to get the double charge? I don't think so, but you should just ride this Rift Herald. This Ornn's not going to be able to stop you. Just ride it into the turn.
Oh, he is going to be able to stop you. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, wait, there's more things going on. Call the Forge God was held in the back pocket. He's going to get a kill. Kermit's got to try to get away, but he's stuck in the corner. He's stunned. It's Flash, Bear slapping everything going on top of him. It's going to be a double kill for the Udyr as they do end up cleaning the fight. Team Yippie living up to the expectations we thought we were going to see.
4-0-6 on this Udyr. Dark Lord just having a masterful performance both in Game 1 and Game 2. And right now, him and insert best name are like Shaq and Kobe, man. Like, it's that one gif where you just pan up towards both of them, and they're just hard carrying Team Yippie right now. Not to say that Fitz and Sneaky Turret aren't doing their jobs, but, I mean, this game is just the catalyst for this domination is Dark Lord, is insert best name. I don't think it can be denied.
Yeah, like Sneaky Turret's more of like a Derek Fisher type, you know?
Damn.
You're gonna start comparing them to other teams of the Shaq and Kobe Lakers era, but we maybe should compare them to the rest of the league because I feel like if they were a little bit more connected in terms of their team play, they would look like an incredibly strong team in all facets of the game. It just feels like it's been a little sloppy as the game has progressed, but I think they're ready to kind of tie the room together here.
Yeah, definitely a bit of happy gaming, as we like to call it. I mean, they're limit testing a little bit, for sure, right? I mean, you could always nitpick what Team Yippie is doing. They could easily have this at like 17-2, right, or 17-3, and have every single turret down already. As they're just gonna run into the jungle. And Devil Pikachu, that top side of his jungle has never been his. It was taken away from minute 1. That's how bad it was. They gentrified his jungle in the top side now.
That's not his jungle. He was just renting it, and rent was due, and he has not been able to cash that check this game. They 1-5 scoreline. Baron going to be started up. There's going to be a large push in the bottom lane. Gonna get these objective bounties. So I like what's
Okay.
going on here from Team Dizzy. They are actively using their strongest members to try and claim some gold on the map. A lot of backs have gone through before this Baron has actually been claimed. So that means another turret's going to go down, another objective
Taylor?
bounty, 230 apiece for all of them. But you mentioned it, I think this Blitzcrank stayed a little bit too long. Was definitely not welcome here. That means there will be another kill going over to the Olaf.
Yeah, now there's a bit of a chase happening here. They're trying to see if they can.
Oh,
Kermit!
Kermit! Oh no, dude. I'm sure he wants to Kermit after that one, but that's tough stuff there. Dark Lord 4, 0, and 7 on his 2-item spike. It now has a bunch of armor too, so Kermit wasn't going to be even doing any damage to him anyway.
Yeah, went the IE into collector build. He's gonna go for that armor pen. Has that picked up right now. Let's see if he's gonna opt in for the Mortal Reminder, or if he's gonna opt in for the Lord Dominance right now. But DD just not in any position or situation as the Maokai ultimate came out. That was a stolen Maokai ultimate. DD's just gonna die again, by the way.
Yeah, DD's in trouble. Good ultimates coming through. He's going to land some knockups there. Sneaky Turret is tanking up this turret, but the shields are just too much right now. Imtuo doing everything they can. Nice block there from Imtuo as well. So it felt like that ace in the hole just hung up in the air for a little too long. Meanwhile, what's going on in the bottom lane? This Olaf is continuing to just shove waves in and be a general nuisance. We'll see if Temtem can actually match him somehow. The rest of the squad going to link up and make sure that this Olaf can't do any dastardly things to the rest of the structures.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough, right? I mean, this is a draft gap. We talked about how difficult it was for Team Dizzy to play into Team Yippie, right? You've got the triple melee into Olaf, into Udyr, into Silas here. Silas also has the mobility that he can steal from the Ahri, also has the lockdown that he can steal from the Maokai. I mean, it's just kind of rough here, and Dark Lord and Insert Best Name have just kind of ran this series and ran this game here, and it looks like it's a replicatable playstyle, right? Like, I'm not sure. Obviously, we have a lot more teams in the league. There's a lot more matchups to see, but you need to match this firepower that is this top jungle. Like, that's just it. You can't just leave it to the wayside, pick a tank, because they will abuse you. You need a top laner that can match up to Insert Best Name here. I'm sure we have them in the league, and I'm excited to see what happens when these top laners match up.
Stolen Call, the Forge God going to land on 2 key members, and that means DDD going to take a lot of damage. Nature's Grasp going to come out and root a couple of people, but it's not really going to matter. It's going to be Ornn, the first one to fall. Devil Pikachu on the backside here manages to survive as Temtem slides in, but only has one more charge of the Spirit Rush. As they watch the structures fall before them, they played a pretty darn good game in the mid lane against the Silas, and yet they have nothing to show for it but their base in shambles, and Silas is ready to teleport in. Devil Pikachu falls, so does the Blitzcrank. They're shoved into the fountain. 23.5 minutes in, Shibby. I think we can officially call this one as the Nexus turrets begin to fall. Team Yippie coming out very strong in their first week of play. This top jungle duo looks like they're going to be a menace for everybody in the league.
Andy Reid off a bye week, baby. That's Team Yippie, right? that's Team Yippie. The bye week into the 2-0 back-to-back 23-minute games. Right? I'm looking at my clock. 46. I clocked in for 46 minutes, man. I'm out. I'm gone.
Bro,
started at
bro went
5,
to his
it's
boss and
6:30.
said, "Can I leave early today? You've been here for 46 minutes." I know.
Just an absolute shellacking,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, right? For a lack of a better term.
No,
something
that's
you
that's
use-
the best term.
Yeah, it's a
That's
shellacking.
really
Team-
That's really all you can call it. I mean, just take a look at it's a topside differential here, right? 12-1 and 15 compared to 1-11 and 7. And yes, I know they're on Ornn Maokai, right? It's kind of unfair, Ornn Maokai versus Olaf Udyr. Of course, one of these is likely going to have better individual numbers than the other, but I mean, that link up at level 1 to just put Devil Pikachu out of the game was was just really a masterclass there. Devil Pikachu walked up to the first gym, and unfortunately, it was Brock. They did not get the dub.
Yeah, I mean, you look across the board, though, Sneaky Turret did the most damage. Ezreal just pumping out damage, doing his job, and it's kind of nice. I think I will say this: we went a little bit hard on Sneaky Turret, but mostly because the rest of his team just kind of was performing really, really well, and he kind of gets thrown to the wayside, right? Imp2O roamed up top, isn't allowed to pick up any CS, isn't really allowed to do anything, but it's good to have an 80 carry like that. I will say it's very good to have an 80 carry that's willing to kind of, take the weak side per se and just kind of be relevant. Really well played from these guys. I really am excited for Team Yippie. I mean, if they can come out like this every single time, draft gaps, consistently with the way Fearless works, I mean, this is a scary team, man. Like this, I'm very excited for other teams that also have similar win conditions around top and jungle, and I want to see them match up because I like, they're very good, man. Like I'm very impressed with this top jungle.
I fear not the team that has the better hands or the better players. I fear the team that has the better draft gaps, because those are the ones that usually come out on top, the ones that have the brains to match the hands. And so far, Team Yippie has definitely showed that they may be a team on that level. But that was a pretty quick night, Shibby. That is it for us here tonight. The good news is we will have more action going on the rest of the week. Don't worry, I'll get to the action that's still going on in a second. We got BOL Emerald coming up tomorrow, Platinum on Wednesday, Diamond on Thursday, as well as Gold. And the Blue Otter League draw show, the Draft League draw show, that will be on Friday. So this will be some pretty good times. You are not going to want to miss those. But that'll be it for us here tonight. We are going to tell you to go over to Blue Otter League 2. Because the exhibition for the Draft League is going on right now, so it'll be a fun way to spend your Monday night watching some more League of Legends and some more Blue Otter community members try to find their ways onto teams, because they are really, really good players, we hope, at the very least. But that is it for us tonight. For myself, for Shibby, for Chippy behind the glass, we want to thank you all so much for being here with us, and we hope to see you next week for some more Blue Otter Masters action.